Hi, I'm Callie and welcome to Kapowski Reads. So I didn't really make reading goals for this year. Like I did, but I didn't pick select books that I wanted to read this year because every year that I do, I fail miserably. So what I've decided to do this year is to pick a sort of TBR for this season. I'm basically going to be picking 5 books that I want to read in that season. This is, yeah, going with this. This makes sense, right? So this video is just going to be my spring 5 books I want to read in spring. Spring TBR? We will perfect the name for this as we go along. On this list, I have a little bit of a mix of TBR veterans, new books, and books that I really wanted to read last year and just didn't get to. So let's get started in absolutely no particular order other than this order. I have them stacked next to me. First up, I have a TBR veteran in the form of The Book of Lost and Found by Lucy Foley. This is a little bit of a bigger book, which is probably why I have neglected it. I love Lucy Foley and I have read all of her very popular murdery mystery books. I have had a great time with every one of them, but this is one of her older books that I have never seen on any channels, any pages, so I'm very intrigued about this. It is a dual timeline book which flashes between Paris in 1939. We have 2 lovers reunited in Paris, but a lot has happened, people have changed, there's also war on the horizon. And then we also have London in 1986, where a woman has inherited a painting from her grandmother, and it kind of leads to her looking into some family history, learning some secrets about her family. I don't really know much more. I've only ever read this kind of murder mystery books by Lucy Foley, so I'm intrigued to read something that might be different. There might be murder mystery in this, I don't know, but I'm very intrigued by this because she's not let me down so far. Next up is a book that I just didn't have time to read last year, which is actually the case for the rest of the books on my TBR. I've got She Is a Haunting by Trang Than Tang. This book is about a woman in Vietnam who is helping with renovations on the family home, and the home is creepy. The home is creepy. And there is a ghost of a bride who gives our main character Jade a warning to not eat anything, and she is just struggling to try to convince people that the house is haunted, and I'm very intrigued, very intrigued. This is a YA book, I think. I think this is, but I could be making that up. I'm fairly certain this is a YA horror, and that is a genre that I often really enjoy. Next up is a gorgeous special edition book which is signed. Speak of the Devil by Rose Wilding. This is about a murder has happened. You know what I like? I like to read a book with a murder. A murder has happened. There are 7 people in the room and 1 man with no head. And all of the people with heads in the room claim that it wasn't them. But it has to have been one of them, right? And so we begin a story where we found out the reason why each of these women had a motive for the choppy chop. I'm very excited about this. I love a good whodunit, and I really wanted to read this last year, but I just didn't have time. And I've seen snowdrops coming out of the ground, and it feels like March is the perfect time to read it 100% because there are snowdrops and I want to read it. Next up is some non-fiction. I really want to read more non-fiction. I feel I just never make time for it. So I'm going with The Once and Future Sex, which is a gorgeous cover. This is by Eleanor Janega, and I only just realised today it's signed, which is just adorable. I didn't know. It made me very happy. This book is about medieval women women in medieval society, and just kind of explores gender construct, and kind of challenges everything that we think about what women's roles were in medieval society. Very excited about this. I really love reading. I love reading books about women. I love reading non-fiction about women. I am just very excited about this. One of my friends recommended this to me. She had bought it as a pre-order, and then I was like, I need that book. So I pre-ordered it, and did I read it? No, but I'm going to read it, and I'm very excited about it. I think I'm gonna love it. I read Feminina last year, which again was about women in medieval times, and that book was so informative. I learned so much. Like, I just didn't know. I don't know a whole lot about women in medieval times. It's a part of my knowledge base that is sorely lacking. So I'm very, very excited to learn a little bit more and fall down a rabbit hole once again, which I did when I read Feminina, and I don't regret falling down that rabbit hole. It was delightful. I learned so much, so very excited. And the last book is another book that I've had many people talking about, and I fell for the hype and I didn't read it. So I have Calla by Colin Walsh. I need to stop buying hardbacks if I'm not about to read them straight away, because these are not cheap. But I have heard that this book is fantastic. This is about a group of childhood friends who, one of them tragically went missing, and they are thrown together 15 years later and kind of forced to talk about and revisit what happened. So I don't know if we're going to find out what happened to, I assume that that's Calla, the one that's scribbled out. I really love books that have like a toxic friendship element, and I don't know if I'm going to get that from this, but I'm kind of hopeful that maybe I will. Or at very least I'm going to get some sort of teenage drama, and maybe we'll do some healing, and maybe we'll find out what happened to Calla, where she is, if she is anywhere. I don't know. Very excited. I know this won, or was at least nominated for, a whole gaggle of awards last year, and I did watch Amelia talk about this book very highly, so I'm hopeful that this is going to be glorious. So these are my 5 books that I plan to read in spring, which, was I saying March? I don't know if I said March earlier. I mean springtime. I mean March, April, May. I plan to read these books during that time. Let me know if you've read any of these ones, if you have any recommendations of which one to start with, and let me know what you're planning to read in springtime as well. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!